Today is Friday, July 3rd, the eve of July 4th, which for Americans is Independence Day, the birthday of the country. I have offered a prayer vigil every Friday, today is the 5th, in this summer of 2020, inspired, called for, because of the murder of George Floyd. And so I have brought you Rabbi Tirza and this beautiful meditation, a pause between contractions. I have brought you Megan Don, bringing us a meditation of physical healing of the organs from Ireland. This has been and will continue to be all summer a very delicious and beautiful, and I hope healing experience. My intent is that watching George Floyd be murdered, it's so clear that everything we are about makes suffering visible. This is what our patriarchal religions and governments and financial systems, everything we do, does an excellent job of making suffering visible. And now in 2020, it is simply essential to stop and make love visible. This is the world we are being asked to create. So today, because it is almost July 4th, I'm not asking anyone else to join us. I am going to read you a prayer that I never had the courage to read in public. It's called I Am, and it is a lament for America. I'm Janet Connor. I am a prayer artist, and everything I am about is about remembering original prayer, real prayer, prayer before patriarchy, and prayer after patriarchy, the kind of prayer that makes love visible. So put a glass of water beside you, and everything you are about to experience will enter that water. And when the prayer vigil is over, we can slowly and consciously drink the water, taking into us at the cellular and cellular level everything that happened in this prayer. We begin, as we begin everything I do, all my intensives, all my gatherings, listening as the voice of the Tibetan bowl calls us to be present. As she rings, say, I am here. She's so soft, I don't know that you could hear her. I am open. And the promise, the commitment, the necessary movement, not just of the summer, but the rest of our lives. I am willing, I am willing to make love visible. It's a big call. After George was murdered, I was awakened in the middle of the night with this prayer. So let us begin. May you find strength. And I hear this as the Divine Mother, the feminine divine, the goddess, Shekhinah, Sophia, Tara, Our Lady, call her what you will. She is our one mother. And she is the one speaking this prayer to every single one of us. May you find strength. It takes strength to make love visible. It's easy to make suffering visible. It takes strength. It takes courage to make love visible. And so she says, may you find strength. May you feel courage. May your skin crackle with the kiss of a blessing wind. Before you, there is hope. Behind you, there has been thousands of years of suffering. But beside you, I have placed sacred companions in this life and in all lives. Above you, moonlight, my light, Below you, earth dark, my dark, and in your womb, the seed of me, your one mother. May your hands caress and be caressed. That's what hands are for. May your feet dance once more, a dance of joy. That's why I gave you feet. Always and forever may your prayers rise in the smoke, and I promise they rise to me. And may you breathe. One breath for yourself. Take that breath. One breath for another. There are so many right now with COVID that are struggling to breathe. Take a breath for one of them. Now take a breath for life herself. And again, a breath for yourself. One breath for another. And a breath for life. I am that life. Take a breath for me. And finally, one breath for yourself. One breath for another. And a breath for life. This is how it was. This is how it is. This is how it ever shall be. My world is without end. Life is without end. Love is without end in truth. So I'm trying to work up the courage to read you this prayer. I wrote it 2 years ago, July of 2018, because of all of the horrific things that were happening in the news. And I've never read it in public. And I'll warn you right now, I'm not going to make it through without tears. But I want to show you who inspired it. Do you know who this is? Martin Niemöller. He's famous for a prayer I'm going to read to you right now. He's a German theologian, a Lutheran pastor during World War II. And when Hitler first came to power, Martin Niemöller supported him, as so many German people did. And then Martin watched as his country devolved into a horror. And he said this in 1946. Whenever I chance to meet a Jew, I cannot but tell him, I have sinned, and my people has sinned against thy people, and against thy people, and against thyself. This is his famous quote, and it feels like a prayer to me, and it returned to me the morning that this prayer came through me, because it shredded my heart and shreds it today to see that nothing has changed since Martin Niemöller wrote these words. First, they came for the communists, but I didn't speak out because I wasn't a communist. Then they came for the socialists, but I didn't speak out because I wasn't a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, but I didn't speak out because I wasn't a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, but I didn't speak out because I wasn't a Jew. Then they came for the Catholics, and I didn't speak out because I wasn't a Catholic. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. And those words returned to me the day 2 years ago that I wrote, I am. This prayer is a lament for America. First, they came for brown boys with a dollop of crack, ignoring huge hedge fund parties with platters of cocaine, but I said nothing because crack is a crime, isn't it? They began to shoot black boys in parks, and I didn't speak out because I wasn't the mother of a black boy. They came for kneeling football players, but I didn't speak out because I don't care about football. They torched mosques, but I stayed silent because I wasn't a Muslim. They slapped swastikas on synagogues, but I said nothing because I am not Jewish. They bombed black churches, and I stayed silent because I am not a black Christian. They rounded up refugees fleeing unspeakable horrors, and I said nothing because I am not a refugee. They caged brown children and told them not to cry, and I stayed silent because those are not my children. They came for gay men seeking wedding cakes, and I said nothing because my son isn't gay. They refused to pay a decent wage, but I said nothing, even as I used those services every day. They closed state hospitals and tossed the mentally ill in jail, and I said nothing because I am not one of those. More black men are in prison today than were enslaved in 1850, and I said nothing because I never enslaved anyone. They drained money from public schools to create profitable businesses for their friends, and I said nothing because my children are no longer in school. They turned prisons into profitable private businesses, and I said nothing because I knew no one in prison. They made healthcare so expensive, only the wealthiest could afford to see a doctor, and I said nothing because, well, I don't know what to say. I watched school children get slaughtered by angry white men with guns as the country continued to elect politicians in thrall to the NRA. I watched food turned into chemicals and family farms into agribusinesses, but I kept shopping at mega markets because I could get cheap food. Now I look at the prisons, the schools, the churches, the parks. I look at what we have become, and I must speak. I must speak now because they are coming for me. They are coming for all of us. And before they do, before they cut out all our tongues, there is something I have to say. I am the football player on one knee. I am the black boy bleeding in the street. I am the brown man behind bars. I am the Muslim at prayer. I am the Jew afraid to enter the synagogue. I am the black child blown to pieces in her pew. I am the Guatemalan mother trying to bring her child to safety. I am the caged child too afraid to cry. I am the Syrian refugee drowning at sea. I am the gay couple looking forward to a ceremony forbidden for so very, very long. I am the child in a crumbling school turning pages in an out-of-date textbook. I am the elderly woman who will die before she can see a doctor. I am the mother holding down 3 jobs and still unable to pay the rent. I am the delusional man waking up in a jail cell. I am the prisoner with no money to call home. I am the high school kid running from bullets. I am the farmer who couldn't keep his land, his home, his life. I am all of these, and they are me because we have one mother. And I will speak. I will speak. I will speak until they come for me. Oh, let us drink our water. Holding this lament for America, it's a glass of tears, I think, but we must drink it. We must drink it to give us the courage, the strength to speak. You might like to whisper something out loud that you are feeling or realizing or experiencing through I Am, a Lament for America. And it's a lament for, I'm afraid to say, all our countries as well. Oh, it was a hard prayer. Thank you for joining me in my first public sharing of the prayer, I Am, a Lament for America. If you would like to watch all of these prayer vigils, they are now available on my website, janetconner.com/vigil, or simply come to janetconner.com and you will see them on the home page in one of those little buttons. Now let us go. Stop mourning for our countries, our governments, the murders of Black men by the police, and let's do something about it. Let's make love visible all summer long, all year long, all life long. Make love visible.